bungee jump. Ewan will be followed by our own Ren Lexander, who will be talking about the end of the age of books and the rise of online learning. So, to begin with, let's give a warm welcome to Ewan MacGlashan.
Thanks very much, guys. It'd be a bit boring just talking about the Sanook Park, so I'll do a little bit of an overview of where I come from and what I've done over the years. Chefs in Thailand are few and far between from where we come from, so what I was trying to show is how we've ended up here. I come from a Michelin background and ended up in Paddy after 25 years of travel. And this is how a chef, little ginger chef, gets his way around the world. Okay? Thanks very much, guys. So I started very young, at 15 years old, and worked my way through college in Inverness, and ended up moving my way down to a place called Killiecrankie, which is in northern Scotland. This place has 3 rosettes, which is like 3 hats in Australia and close to Michelin, which gave me a pretty good grounding. Then from there I got my way up to the west coast of Scotland, which the guy that owned this place is really helped me grind as a chef. He locked me in fridges and did many crazy things in the old days of when we could get away with that, and really made me the chef I am today. I moved from there to, this is Gairloch, a beautiful part of the west coast of Scotland. That's where it was. Great place to retire. Not many kids up there though. This is down, I moved down to England after that, and this place is where we won a Michelin star when I was about 21 years old. I was the second chef at this place. Beautiful old building. This used to, after the war, this was where all the kids went, orphan kids went for a while and went back to the hotel. Then I moved to Ochterarder House, which for there I cooked for Ronald Reagan in the times when he was still sane. And really interesting place. That's not a very good picture of there. Then that's when Australia came to be, where I moved over there, travelled extensively around the world, where I've done 97 countries now, and ended up in Pattaya like we all do in the end of it, don't we? So then I ended up on yachts for many years, going around the world, where a lot of my travels came, and this is where it all started. For Australians that know, Hamilton Island is on the Queensland coast, beautiful island, and from there on in, we moved. This is all part of that area. Whitsundays is the only beach in the world that you can see from outer space, and really interesting part of the world up there too. And most people have probably seen this picture of the Heart Reef. It's a really famous one, which is from that area of Whitsundays as well. There's a few Australians in the room, so I'm sure they'll all recognise where we are here. From there I ended up back in the snow in Australia, which is a place called Falls Creek. I've done 9 seasons around the world, which is well, mainly from Australia to USA to Europe. And there's us in Austria, St Anton in Austria. We moved forward from there. Then I joined the super yacht industry, cooking for the very rich. And Antibes on the south of France is the hub of the super yacht industry. And for everyone with a lot of money, this is a lot of the places they keep their very large yachts. On the outer ones there, up to 200 meters long and worth up to $1.2, $1.5 billion. Yeah. Very big. Some of the travels around that we get around through within the super yacht industry. Bonifacio was one of the most amazing places I've been to. This is where Nelson hid and creeped out and actually fought and won a lot of wars around from the north of Corsica here. Really interesting place. And as you can see, it's getting pretty weathered. And I wouldn't like to be the guy that lives on that point. I think that house is going to drop off at one point, just disappear into the ocean, which is really amazing to see in real life. And that's the bay again, all through Bonifacio. Absolutely amazing. Another major hub is where Brigitte Bardot made this place famous. It's Saint-Tropez. I don't know if many people have heard of it. It's on the Côte d'Azur coast. It's where all the rich and famous like to go to be seen and to be seen as well. So, very interesting there. 3 really amazing places I've gone through as well as the 3 biggest canals in the world. One being the Corinth Canal, which this is all cut by hand, 90 meters tall, 2 kilometers long, and that saved about 600 kilometers off the Greek coast. But absolutely amazing that that was cut by hand, and it's the oldest of the 3 canals. The other 2 canals, or 3 canals I've gone through, being the Suez Canal, where we came up through the Gulf of Aden, where we were chased by pirates at one point, and come right up through there. The other one being the Panama Canal, where again, coming out through the other side, going down the coast of Colombia, we encountered on a 50-meter yacht. Another 200 miles offshore, we encountered pirates at another time as well. It took us 6 hours to chase them away, and they finally gave up and ran out of fuel, which is interesting. This is a really interesting part of the world where we got to as well. The Galapagos Islands. It's, as Charles Darwin said, it's evolution in front of your eyes, and truly and utterly, the place is stunning. You can actually see the whole world changing there in front of your eyes. And that's off the coast of Ecuador. Really, really interesting place to go as well. With the same company, I did Antarctica, which was a really interesting one, seeing hundreds of thousands of penguins and walking on the ice. It's just stunning. So, this is a couple of the yachts I worked on. This is a 50-meter Heesen, which was built in Holland. Beautiful yacht. It's called MacGlashan, good Scottish name. Was on that for 1.5 years, travelled all through Europe with that. And that's it in Saint-Tropez when we were going through. This one was quite an interesting one I worked on. This was built in Scotland, in Glasgow, 55 years ago, and it's owned by Nicolas Cage, or was before, so I worked for him for a while. This boat was a stunning classic boat, you know, so, and I lived and worked on this in Nassau, in the Caribbean, absolutely stunning. That's the insides of the thing, very, very classical. This one here, I went all the way around the world on. As you can see in the background, you've got the Arctic up there. We went through the Northwest Passage, and that's me on the top, which was a really interesting part of the world to go through too. Only 6 weeks of the year, there's only the last 10 years, pleasure vessels have been allowed to go through the Northwest Passage, as it freezes over for 9 months of the year, and there's only a 3-month period where you can actually travel through it. It's melting in front of you and freezing up behind you. It's very, very amazing to go through. It took us 30 days at 8 knots to go through there, which was quite amazing. That's the Northwest Passage there, if no one knows where it was. So literally we came all the way through. Very, very interesting part of the world. Really, really beautiful. Then some of the more interesting sailing yacht again, if you see on the bay out there. That's us in Portofino in Italy. This is a very beautiful part of the world as well. Most expensive place to moor your yacht in the world. Just here there for one night, it's about 5,000 euros for putting your boat in with no electric, no water, no nothing, just to back your boat up into there. Really, really interesting part of the world. Coming to some chefing things, I've travelled all around the world. I've been to markets everywhere in the world, but Sicily really stood out to me. In southern Sicily, this is a market in southern Sicily. The cheeses were amazing. I actually got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, went and made mozzarella with some of the cheesemakers, smoked it fresh to bring back to my boss for breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning, which really, really shows you how the food's different. Most chefs of today expect things to be delivered to them, and everything's not good enough, it gets sent back. But when you go to a market and you've got a boss expecting Michelin star food, and you walk into the fish market and there's more flies coming out as you're going in, when you're going into these places, and you still have to do something for them. But this place was just absolutely stunning. The food was amazing, the smells were amazing, the fish just stunning, absolutely stunning part of the world to go and see. If anyone gets a chance or have been to Sicily before, they'll have seen that. So, really beautiful part of the world. And then just north of there, this is a very interesting place that I don't know if people might have heard of, the Stromboli Island. It's been classed as a nautical thing for 2,500 years. It's been used within there because it's a live volcano that has been live for 2,500 years. and it's been used like a lighthouse within the nautical times for that time. Really, really interesting, beautiful to see it now. Then Montenegro, which was the part of Serbia, which is a new country. It's about 7 years old now, I think. Absolutely stunning. We have high fjords and an absolutely beautiful part of the world. I stayed and lived around this area for quite a long time, and also in Savta, which is the next one here. This is a very interesting place as well. This is where the Serbians bombed Dubrovnik. They took this whole village over, and all of the army were all throughout this whole area. And it's 16 kilometers directly across to Dubrovnik from there. And they bombed for, I think it was 40 days, they bombed Dubrovnik. It was really interesting. When I lived there, you could still see some of the holes in Dubrovnik. They've just about fixed all of it now, but the old city is stunning. This is probably first time to Thailand, just a bit of a fun picture just to say I'm actually on my way here. I was in Panama for a while, and this was one of my restaurants. It was a Thai restaurant. This is where I started getting my Thai feel. I opened it with a chili and the mantis together. It was in the jungle on an island called Bastimento, which was, I took everything from the jungle almost, so it was quite interesting from food side. So as you can see now, my place is barbecue, but I've got a wide range. I mean, these are local lobsters that we picked ourselves from the ocean. It's a ceviche on the left-hand side, which is done by lobster as well, and the lobster fried rice. The banana leaf I took from the tree outside. The limes I took from the tree outside my place. It was really, really interesting part of my life. Small island, as we can see. It was a slave island for the banana foundations, and there was 3 places they dropped them in Panama. One being Bastimento, which means island of plenty, and one was just on the edge of Costa Rica, and the other one where they were dropped to build the Panama Canal. These still have a big black community that only speak English Creole, where everywhere around all speak Spanish now. And on the main island across from it, it's called Bocas del Toro. They have an old